Hi, my name's Tony Ruby. I live and work in and around the Grantham area, and I love Grantham very, very much, as I'm sure you guys do too. I just want to tell you how awesome Grantham is, though. So I want to share with you over the course of the next coming days and weeks, people who I consider to be proper, true local heroes of the Grantham area, understand a little bit about their stories, where they've come from, what their connection to Grantham is all about, and how they're coping through these unparalleled and unprecedented times, and tell the people of Grantham why they've taken them to their hearts. Today I'm with Chris, a former butcher's boy, turned estate agent, turned property guru, who now has a business of his own, advising and directing estate agents all over the country. And I'd like to introduce you to Chris now. So, hi Chris, how are you?
Hi Tony, how are you on this chilly day?
Yeah, it's not quite the same, is it? It's typical weekend weather, really. It changes for the weekend, and normally that matters when you're out working, but not perhaps this week so much. So tell me, Chris, what is it you love about Grantham?
Well, I've been in Grantham now for 48 years, man and boy. I was brought up here, went away to Sheffield for 3 or 4 years and came back. All my uni mates, college mates, buggered off around the country, but for some reason I seem to stop here. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I go around all the country. I go to London at least once a week, go to many cities and towns. But I just love Grantham because it's the people, there's some rough areas, there's some nice areas, but, you've got the parks, you've got Belton, you've got Belvoir, Harlexton Manor. Yeah, I lived in Harlexton for, 20 years of my life. Just a nice place, but everything's handy on the doorstep, isn't it? You got Nottingham if you need to go somewhere, and just nice.
Yeah, it is well located, isn't it? You look at the likes of Peterboroughs and Lincolns and Nottinghams that you talk of there, and I think actually we sometimes, being residents and locals, we sort of forget how lucky we are, really. And I think you've mentioned some of the major attractions there, like the Belton Houses and Belvoir Castles and Woolsthorpe Manor and Grimsthorpe Castle. There's loads on our doorstep, and I think sometimes those who live here don't always appreciate just how lucky we are. But so what is it, Chris, that you love about the Grantham people?
You could be walking down the street and you slip over and everyone will come and help you, and that's happened a number of times for me.
Yeah.
Just decent people that you talk to. You look at my surname, I'm part of the Watkin butchers empire. Not that that's ever given me any airs or graces, but my pocket money was stopped at 9 years old, and I was thrown into washing pots. And then when I was 14, serving people, the fact that I was the boss's boss made no difference at all. In fact, I know my parents told them that there was no extra special favours, and serving hundreds and hundreds of people every day on a Saturday with half a pound of ham and a pound of Watkin sausage certainly made me realise that these people in Grantham are really nice people. And then I ended up being an estate agent for the Halifax, where Pygate and Crone is, the Halifax. And, there can't be many men in Grantham that have been, I think we worked it out, it was like 15,000 bedrooms I've been in, which is...
Well, there's some Lotharios who might claim to rival that number, maybe, but that's an incredible number.
And I went and met these wonderful people in their homes, so that their guards were down, and just decent people who care. So
you mentioned obviously about the family butchers, something which is iconic, I think, as part of the makeup of Grantham. It's part of the DNA of Grantham, I believe. So many people, use it daily. If you go in there around the lunchtime, it's absolutely packed. What is it you think that the people of Grantham have taken the butchers to their heart so much? Obviously, it's where you started your working life as well, and it sounds like it was a proper education at the University of Life by the sound of it.
It's really interesting that if you actually go and look at the prices and then go to Morrison's, you will find that most of the stuff is actually cheaper in Watkins than it is at the supermarkets.
I always feel, Chris, when I walk out of Watkins, that I feel like I've robbed the place. I'm walking out with a great big bag of stuff, and I've been before for a barbecue on a summer's afternoon, picked up whatever I wanted, got £20 out of my wallet, thinking I don't know how much this is going to be, but I better get 20 out because I don't want to look like I've underestimated. And you end up with £16 change almost. It's ridiculous sometimes, but phenomenal value without a doubt.
Yeah, they would rather people come back all the time than screw someone just once. You know, when a sausage and bacon bap is, I think it's £1.75, and it's 2 fat sausages and a bacon.
Yeah,
yeah, and a ham roll.
Yeah,
ham bap. And, is
£1.25.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then toffee donuts are just to die for.
Yeah, I prefer the chocolate. Chocolate one's my preferred one. If there's one on the shelf, it's coming with me, without a doubt.
And they really do. It's interesting that those cooked baps have actually saved the business, because that means people go in and then buy their pork chops and their everything else. I'm very proud of them, and they appreciate the love they have for the business in the town. I'm not in the business. Okay. My brother runs it. He's the 4th generation, Richard. I'm very proud of him. And he's got a couple of lads and just a new daughter as well, just in the last couple of weeks as well.
Congratulations to Richard.
Yeah, and Clara. So, yeah, and I got and again the staff there. I mean, the staff there. I mean, there's people there that have been there 25, 30 years that are almost, like in the old days, you used to have uncles and aunties that weren't actually uncle or aunties, but they kind of, your parents used to say, look up to them. There's people in there that have seen me, that are in their late 50s, that, and early 60s, that I've been there 20 years, and I look up to them. They're part of the family. It's like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. So it's like one big family, and I'm very proud of what my parents and my brother had done, and so the previous Watkins, because it's been going since 1912.
Isn't that incredible? It says a lot, I think, about the company as well. The fact that people commit 2-3 decades of their life to serving the people of Grantham. They clearly love what they do. They clearly love working there, because, you spend anything, well, you probably have some part-time staff there on 20 hours and some probably full-timers at 37, 40 hours, whatever. And they're prepared to do that for 3 decades of their life. It's unbelievable. It's a real testament, I think, to what's been achieved on Westgate there.
I mean, my parents have worked too hard. They work stupid hours. I mean, for my brother, an easy morning is going in at 4 or 5 in the morning. But they on a Friday going through to a Saturday, they can be there from midnight.
Good Lord. I don't think sometimes people appreciate that. They sort of see the shop open, don't they? They probably nip down there at 9:30, 11, 10 o'clock for a bacon roll, but the bread's all baked on site as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's proper. It's long lost, isn't it? That sort of mastery, that sort of art, that sort of skill. I think over the course of the generations, it's changed a lot. So, obviously, you mentioned about your family there. How long's the butcher's shop been operational in Grantham now?
1912.
1912, so over 100 years. Good Lord. That's stood the test of time without a shadow of a doubt, hasn't it? And obviously, the butcher's shop, has it always existed on Wide Westgate, or is it something that's existed for other places in Grantham?
At one point, there were actually 4 of them in the town. About 3 generations ago, the first Watkin, William Watkin, had 2 sons, and they both wanted the business, so they split the business in half.
Right.
But that arm, Graham, my dad's cousin, closed that. It would be about 15 years ago. But that was on London Road. You know where the Chinese restaurant is with the big canopy that comes out?
Yes. I forget what it's called now, but it's near to the Bombay Brasserie, isn't it? So, yes, I know exactly what you mean. So coming back to your involvement then, so you started work there as a young lad, 9, 10 years old, doing your Saturday shifts, earning a bit of pocket money because your pocket money stopped at home. And then did you progress through till what?
18.
Working your whole life, or 18? Okay. And then what did you do?
I basically went in, and then I started at the bottom in the shop when I was 14, serving all the grannies with. I mean, in those days they used to sell chicken guts, and they're called. I think they're chicken. They might be pig actually, or sheep. I'm not sure. Chitlins. Right. I don't know if you. Basically, it's intestines cured in vinegar. Disgusting.
Oh, really?
And funny things like Lincolnshire chine, which is a cut of meat with lots of green parsley and herbs in it. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, I've heard of chine, and a friend of mine who lives over Billingham way often refers to chine, and I'd never really understood what it was. So you've taught me something today.
It's a fatty meat, and I don't know where it is. It might be shoulder, but sorry, Derek, if you're watching this and I've got it wrong. He's the main butcher, top lad, and John and all the other guys. And then they cut it open and put like shed loads of parsley in it, like handfuls of the stuff. It's not my cup of tea, but
a proper Lincolnshire tradition, then, by the sound of it.
Well, here's a tip. Did you know this? That if all the sausages that they made in a year would stretch between here and Nottingham,
all the Watkin sausages, 27 miles.
Worked it out.
Good Lord, you've worked out some interesting stats, Chris. Is 15,000 bedrooms.
I am a stat man. That is my job, to be a stat man, and I just worked that one out.
Yeah. So so as we work on then, obviously you've left there at 18. What did you do then at 18?
I went to college, university. I went to learn to be a chartered surveyor.
Oh, right. Okay. And then you came back into, finished university.
There was no jobs in surveying when I left in 93. So I went to be an estate agent with Halifax.
Right. Okay. And the Halifax is the one that you mentioned before that now exists in the Pygate and Crone building on Watergate. And how long are you there for?
From 93 to 2000, I went to work for Escott and Bow for a bit, and then went back to Halifax in Nottingham, and then Melton Mowbray. Oh,
right. Okay. So you covered a few areas in it, but always quite local. And then things progressed a little bit further. Like you said, we now find ourselves at the point where you've got your own business. What did the sort of journey look like between leaving Halifax and where you are today?
Okay, so I went to work for Belvoir, although locally it's called Beaver Lettings, but Belvoir, their head office is in Grantham, and I had a wonderful 2 or 3 years there working at head office, or central office as it's called, and was helping people start their own letting agencies. But what I decided to do is my real passion wasn't that, but actually helping those existing ones grow their businesses. And I saw an opportunity, so I set up my own business 6 years ago with my gorgeous wife, and now that we've got a team, and we help letting and estate agents around the country. Goodness me!
So
I go around the country all the time.
Yeah, so that explains obviously your visits to lots of different towns and cities and everything else that comes with it. So, is there something you could tell me? I mean, you've mentioned a few interesting things, but is there something you could tell me interesting about the town of Grantham that people might not know?
When we're allowed to go out, one thing that I always find fascinating is if you go to the corner of, what's that street at the back of the King's School?
At the back of the King's School, Castlegate?
Yeah, but not Castlegate. Between King's School and St Wolfram's, you've got that. There's a stone building there, and it's got false painted windows on. Here you go.
Not Church Street.
It could be Church Street, but it's that little one. But just on the corner of Castlegate and not Castlegate. Which one? Which is the one with Grantham House on Red Cross Street? Is that Castlegate?
That's Castlegate.
Yeah, the corner of Castlegate and Church Street.
Okay.
There is a Georgian building, and there's some painted windows on there that are false windows.
Oh, really? I'll have to have a look. I can't say I've noticed, but of course you're driving down Castlegate, always in that direction, away from that particular building. So you probably pass that building without recognising it being there.
There's some. I tell you what, it was Malcolm Knapp always told me, look up. And there's some amazing buildings. I love walking down Castlegate and Swinegate. I'm in the round table, and we did a Grantham history tour. And we started at the Guildhall, and we only made it as far as the Blue Pig.
Say no more. Great place to stop. If you're going to stop anywhere, great place to stop. Yeah, I think it's actually quite. I always say we got a bit of a lads trip to various places over the course of a year. Usually it's the only time of the year we get together, but I always say to the chaps, and they must think I'm an absolute lunatic, but just look up as you're walking down the streets of Grantham, Nottingham, London, wherever you are, and there's some phenomenal buildings in places that you just don't recognise because it's not at street level. You don't see it at street level. Yeah, it's a great tip. without a doubt. What do you think? Sorry, hold on. Cut that bit out. What's the one thing you would change about Grantham and the one thing that you would keep the same?
Change about Grantham. That's a tricky one, mate, that one. Probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. Fix bloody potholes.
Right, yeah. I think a lot of people have that in their top 2 or 3 ideas, I reckon. My little girl, interestingly, said she'd like a swimming pool that's warm in Grantham. Whether that means that the Mears Leisure Centre isn't quite warm enough for her little toes, I'm not quite sure.
Oh, I've got one. Okay. You go down Station Road as if you're going from the train station, going down to the one-way loop.
Station approach, yeah.
Yeah. I would. You can't do a left turn down to Harlexton
Road. Yeah.
Yeah. I would change that.
Yeah.
And I tell you what I would also change is, the bridge that goes on the railway bridge on Springfield Road.
Yes.
I'd get rid of those concrete barriers which have made it really thin, so 2 cars can't get through.
Yes.
Because they were putting. I'd change that. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Good shout. But to be fair, maybe in time with the new relief road that's going in, the traffic pressures will ease in these areas because they're tight pinch points, aren't they? Those areas you just mentioned, without a doubt. Finally, well, not finally. I've got one more question for you after this. But what word would you use to describe Grantham and its people? Just one word.
Generous.
Generous. I think you're a prime example of that, Chris. You have this mantra, don't you, of the opportunity to give without the expectancy of receiving. I think that just, for me, defines generous. And obviously that's what you think about the people of Grantham as well. That's an interesting one. And then sorry, go on.
Blame my parents on that one.
Well, there you go. Well, you've obviously been brought up rather than dragged up, which is lovely. So one last one, and this is probably just whetting the appetite of some people out there at the moment. When this is all over, when we are allowed to go about our normal lives and we're allowed to go out and do what we want to do, which I think we take for granted, and it's only at times like this we probably don't appreciate just how great it is to be able to walk down to the shop when you want to and walk to the park when you want to. Which pubs, shops, clubs, services in and around Grantham are you looking forward to visiting once it's all done?
I know exactly what I'd do. I would first visit the Tollymarsh with my mates. Okay. And I would have 3 or 4 pints of Punk IPA, because that's my favourite beer.
Yes.
Okay. And I would then walk down St. Peter's Hill.
Yeah.
With the nice warm summer's evening, with the air running through my hair. I'd cut through Guildhall Street.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'd walk onto narrow Westgate, and I would go to, quite simply, everyone has their own opinion, but your opinion is wrong if you disagree with me. Okay. I would go to the Everest Inn, because I consider that is simply the very best curry house in the world.
Yeah.
I would have poppadoms, 2 poppadoms with the spices, and then I would have a big sizzling plate of 4 lamb chops with sautéed onions. Mm-hmm. I would have garlic naan bread, and then I would scoop the onions up, put it into the quarter naan bread, and then take off the lamb chop, which is black on the outside and pink on the inside. Next to me, I would have some rice and some curry sauce. So not just curry sauce. I'll be eating the curry sauce and the lamb like that, with like the garlicky naan with the sweet onions like that, with a pint of their Everest beer. Like that, looking at my mates and going, this is what life's about. That, my friend, I'm bloody well doing when this shit's over. Good.
Are you a lime pickle man?
Yes. I love it. Yeah, I like them silly hot.
Yeah, me too. If you're going to go and you're going to have a go, you've got to have a go at something that's going to give you a bit of a taste sensation, I think, haven't you?
Yeah.
Oh, Chris.
If you like your curries, Marks and Spencer do a prick and peel one called the hot one, and it even makes me go, wow.
Oh, really? That's worth remembering again for when we get out. Maybe if we could put that down on our essential shopping list and nip to Marks and Spencer's on the way back home, that would be good. So I just want to thank you, Chris, for your time today. Certainly a local hero of mine and a local hero of Grantham. And that just extends from yourself, but also to your family as well. I hope everything goes well for you over the coming months. We get through these issues. And obviously, I wish you and your family all the very best. And I just want to say to you, thank you once again, and keep safe.
And I just want to say to the guys and girls of Grantham is we will get through this. Stay together, look after yourselves and your neighbours and your family, and this will make us stronger. Cheers, mate.